Commercial or on the sideline. Latest on the D of the G-men. Or was it the
past the Jets' ray of hope? Will Oakland raid Flutie and the Bills? It's a league with a whole new look. NFL Primetime. Coming up next. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson, and welcome to Wacky Week 6 of NFL Primetime. You try and find just something to get a handle on this season, Tom, and even the home teams don't win too much.
It's like the Bizarro world in the Superman comics. Everything's turned around.
Upside down and around. And so now we begin the Eagles and the Bears. Now, remember the Fog Bowl and some of the games between these teams? Let's go to Soldier Field, where Philly 0-14 lifetime in Chicago. Andy Reid got his first win of the NFL last week, but 0-14 is a big mountain to climb. But Doug Peterson, the Dietrich Gels, 57 yards. Here's a team that never scores touchdowns. It went 18 quarters without a touchdown to winning last week. But Peterson to Luther Broughton, he had a career half, 20-6 Eagles at the halftime. Oh, those Eagles on the offense. And now, Cade McNown getting his first start.
Yeah, watch Marcus Robinson here. And you see Cade McNown as he audibles to him. You saw him right there with the arrow on him. He only spoke with Marcus Robinson. And defensively, you know that's where he's going with the football.
So third quarter, McNown trying to make good. And he makes good with the big fella Robinson. Cuckoo-ca-choo, Mr. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. It's 80 yards. And the Bears are down 20-13. First career TD pass for the rookie, Cade McNown.
And Robinson here being covered by Brian Dawkins. Dawkins 5'11", Robinson 6'3". There you see him take advantage of his vertical leap.
Eagles lead 20-16, 5.5 to go. McNown for Robinson. Got it between defenders, 51 yards. 4th and 5 at the Eagles, 31. 3.5 to go for Dick Gerard. McNown the slant, but Al Harris is there to break it up. Philadelphia had not won on the road since they beat the Jets at the Meadowlands in 1996, and they win in Chicago for the first time. Philadelphia has won 2 in a row, folks. The Eagles win at 20-16. You know what? If they score some points, Tom, they can win games, as we saw against Dallas last week.
It's a defense that led the NFL in takeaways with 17 coming into the game. They get a little bit of offense, as you say, they're going to be good. And Curtis Conway replaced today by Marcus Robinson. A great job of getting them something downfield.
Deuce Staley ran for $101 for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've now won 2 in a row. They're a juggernaut. Neil O'Donnell and the Titans against the Saints coming up. And a big game in the AFC East between the Patriots and the Dolphins. NFC East team from a year ago, Arizona, with Jake the Snake Plummer, against the high-flying, high-scoring Washington Redskins led by Brad Johnson. Highlights, here's Linda Cohn.
You're the Redskins. You enter the ESPN Sunday night game against Arizona, tied for the division lead with Dallas. You're second in the NFL in total offense. Your quarterback, Brad Johnson, is second in passing efficiency. But nobody thinks you're a Super Bowl contender, not with a defense ranked dead last in the NFL, a stat expected to improve against the Cardinals. Only 3 teams were more offensive on offense than Arizona. To Tempe. Champ Bailey and the Redskins D looking to turn things around, tied at 3, Jake Plummer. Battling that hip corner, you know, picked off by Champ Bailey. Bailey, the Redskins' first-round pick, returns his 59 yards for the touchdown. The former Bulldog will be a night to remember for Champ. Third quarter, still 10-3 Skins. Plummer sacked by Sean Barber, and his finger actually gets caught in Barber's face mask. Oh man, X-rays would show Plummer's a broken right ring finger. His nightmare season continues. Redskins up 17-3, Dave Brown. For Rob Moore, but Champ Bailey is there again. His 3rd interception of the night. Bailey, his real name is Rollins, you know, at the age of 21 becomes the youngest player to have 3 interceptions in one game. Congratulations to Champ and to the Redskins. The Redskins score a season-low 24 points, but they win for the 4th straight time overall and just the 2nd time in their last 8 trips to Tempe. Brad Johnson, facing the NFC's top pass defense, passed for 248 yards and 1 touchdown, but threw his first 2 picks of the season, and the Redskins get the Cowboys next week. ESPN ESPN has a Thursday night NFL special for you this week. Elvis Grbac and the Chiefs visit the Ravens in Baltimore. Kickoff 8:15 Eastern, right after our pregame show from the ESPN Zone in Baltimore, a place our Chris Berman knows quite well. Back to you, Chris.
Those Tennessee Titans 4-1 heading into New Orleans, who won opening week, but Mike Ditka hasn't won since Jeff Fisher was a member of Ditka's 85 Bears. He was on IR as a defensive back, was kind of an unofficial assistant coach. Eddie George hadn't had a 100-yard day in 12 games, but he bust 39 yards here. He had a $155 on the day. So a new look for the Titans, a new old look. Neil O'Donnell. Well, here's an old look of sorts. Alex Molden picks it off. Was it Scully or was it Molden? He picked it up. O'Donnell 0 for his first time with 2 picks. Billy Joe Tolliver to Scott, you ignorant slapskirt. 9-yard touchdown. That's Saints leading 10-0. With clock running out at the end of the half, Ricky Williams stopped at the goal line. They don't have a timeout. You understand the gamble, but it's 10-0 instead of 17-0 or 13-0. That would come back to haunt the Saints. Ricky Williams at the fumble. Eddie Robinson, another career win for him in Louisiana. Falls on the ball, touchback. Here come the Titans down 13-7. O'Donnell, Kevin Dyson, 11 yards. Titans lead 14-13. Now, watch this big fella, Jason Fisk, with a little trickery in the line of scrimmage, Tom.
Well, great scheme there as you see Jason Fisk, the defensive tackle, come back into coverage and does a great job of recognizing where the quarterback wants to throw the ball and then attacks the line of scrimmage after he gets the pick.
That sets up a field goal, 17-13. Next, Saints play from scrimmage. Billy Joe tries to be a hero, but instead he jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. Donald Mitchell could go all the way. 42 yards, so a close game. Ends up, and the Titans run away with it. The Saints, well, they got points at the very end. That was the first fourth quarter points all year to make it within a field goal. It was a wild onside kick. They had a shot to recover, but they didn't get it. And Tennessee is 5-1, playing in a soft division, and they win it 24-21. And Eddie George, 277 yards first 5 games, but this is the guy that we saw come into the league big time, Tom.
Chris, he has been a lot more involved in the area of receiving the football, but when you talk to the Titans on a weekly basis, they wanted to get him more involved running the football to 28 carries, 155 yards, whether it's Neil O'Donnell, whether it's Steve McNair, going to make the quarterback a lot more comfortable. I think we're going to see the best of this offense when they get to about midseason.
And Mike is, well, you know, Ricky Williams, rookie, not 100%, just at the 35 yards. When he gets big games on the ground, then their quarterbacks will be better. So the Titans win it. They're off next week. I predict they'll still be 5-1. When we return, the bus running against the Bengals. That'll be funny. Jay Fiedler on the roof. A new hero in Jacksonville. Winning streak. And the game begins and the Bengals are already behind 14-3. If it's that bad. Akili Smith with the snap. He's going to evade the rush, and this he can do, and we know he has an arm, Tommy. He finds Marco Battaglia. Bengals with a touchdown, but it's the Bengals. Offensive pass interference. It doesn't count. Smith to Tony McGee, and watch Chad Scott.
Yeah, Pittsburgh getting very physical on the defensive end of the ball, and you see a young quarterback throwing the ball into coverage. Again, this is going to be McGee hit by Lee Flowers right there, so the receivers will have to bear up under the pressure of a growing young quarterback.
So it's still 14-3. Jerome Bettis up the gut for 17 yards. The bus helps the Steelers lead 17-3. First 100-yard game of the season for him. He's had 7 of them in his career. 8 games against the Bengals, 7 times he had 100 yards against them. 17-3, Akili Smith. Pass deflected by Earl Holmes. Orpheus Roy is there. And, I mean, it wasn't pretty. But Bill Cowher had that jaw jutting out because his defense played big time, and the Steelers win it by the count of 17-3, 111 yards rushing for Bettis. Hey, Pittsburgh only had 255 on offense. Not great, but if you hold the opponent to 3-point on the road in the division, you'll take the win anytime. Speaking of the division, the Jaguars coming in 4-1, and Chris Palmer, Browns coach, used to work as offensive coordinator for Tom Coughlin in Jacksonville. Tim Couch, rookie quarterback, to Terry Kirby. Hey, Cleveland leading. Yeah, they've done this a few times. They lead at 7-3, leading at the half. Jags offense, meanwhile, struggling. Mark Brunell is what we call a high fastball for Jimmy Smith, and then sometimes even when he was on it, Jags offense had a sink time.
A lot of things factoring into the fact that they're not playing well offensively. Here, a perfect pass to Jimmy Smith, and he just can't hold on to it. Then you take a look at the next play here. Tavian Banks, remember here, they need 1 yard, 3rd down and 1, dumps it off. somehow Tavian can't get his feet set and get upfield for that 1 yard, Chris.
Offensively, they've gone backwards. Meanwhile, speaking of going backwards, Brunell, with so much talent and a Pro Bowl quarterback, watch this, almost like something came out of the stands, but left the game with bruised ribs, 6 possessions, 6 points, and gone. So that means Jay Fiedler in to conduct the offense. Jay Fiedler from
Dartmouth.
There you go, an Ivy League quarterback. And look at him come right in. Fiedler pops one to Jimmy Smith, though he gets popped by Marcus Smith. First and goal from the 9. Fiedler conducting a touchdown to Kyle Brady. 2-point conversion, they make it 14-7. And then with the score 21-7, this is what Jay Fiedler on the roof can do. Tradition leads to a field goal. With apologies to Zero Mostel. I love when those Ivy Leaguers play well. There aren't a lot of us in pro football here these days, Tom. Fiedler 12 of 14 for $113. And the Jags win 24-7. They're 5-1 and off next week.
And you see James Stewart there to 23 carries for just over 55 yards. And that really is hurting this football team, not having their major league runner playing for them on a weekly basis.
Jags and Titans each at 5-1 in the AFC Central. When we return, Vikings could lose another division game. Could they? St. Louis couldn't keep winning. Here we go with the undefeated St. Louis Rams. The undefeated Rams, the last team undefeated, and we've seen this before. Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, 4 yards out. They're trying to beat the Atlanta Falcons for the second time in 4 weeks, 7-0. On 3rd and 26, the Marshall plan. Draw play, and Tommy, he's going to pick up 30 yards.
You spread the defense with the wide receivers, and you give it to him out of the I position without having the runner in front of him, the fullback.
And then he scores, and the bob and weave dance, which I guess offsets the dirty bird from last year, as St. Louis is obviously the NFC West team that's risen from the ashes. Tony Horn. Horn of plenty. Little Big Horn. And the Falcons are custom. Morton Anderson. No, I don't think so. Could go all the way. 101 yards, 21-7, the Rams. Big plays from special teams, big plays from offense, and now it's the defense's turn. Look at defensive end Grant Wistrom, the #1 pick of a year ago, outrun Chris Callaway. Had a slow 91-yard touchdown for Wistrom.
Yeah, you take another look at this. Great hands by Grant Wistrom. He was an outstanding athlete coming out of Nebraska. You see him make the nice play here off the deflection, going to get the ball, heads upfield, and amazing that Callaway cannot catch him. And then watch Mike Jones, number 52, come in and clean Callaway out of the way anyway.
With the score 34-10 for Dick Vermeil, a nice guy reaping the benefits of a fun season. The pitch from Warner to Falk, and look at him split the defenders, and he's gone. 49 yards, almost gets into the end zone before he's finally tripped up, leading to another touchdown. And this was a game in which Kurt Warner, was it a Braves game with empty seats? I don't know. The Rams ripped the Falcons for the second time this year, 35-7, now 41-13. And in this game, when Kurt Warner threw for only 111 yards, all right, and just the 1 touchdown, was everybody else rolling it up, and Tommy, they still score 41 points.
Well, amazing number of weapons, and I think that when I talked with them last week, they wanted to get Marshall Faulk involved in the running game, spread the offensive wide receivers, and open up the run lanes inside. He got hurt early last week. This week, he had a chance to run the ball the way they want him to.
Ran for 181, caught for 32. That's what, 213 on the day. Vikings, losers to the Bears last week. They go into Detroit, where early on, Randall Cunningham picked up by Terry Fair. Lions smelling upset. His first career INT, and it's a touchdown. 7-0 Detroit. Score 13-0 Detroit in the second quarter. Tracy Scoggins. Boom! Ball loose. Leroy Horde. He can't get it. James Jones recovers for Detroit. Leads to a Hanson field goal. That would be a recurring theme. 16-0 Lions, but Herman Moore out with a leg injury. Charlie Batch out the entire second half with a bruised upper right arm. Bruised triceps day-to-day. Should be okay next week. Meanwhile, 19-0 Detroit. Randall Cunningham on the bench, and here comes Jeff George. He has a big arm. Andrew Glover catches it for 30 yards. 4 plays later, George to Chris Carter. All he does?
Touchdown.
17 yards, 19-7. George says, this is kind of fun. We can do this again. And he looks for Randy Moss. Pumps, throws, fires, caught. 36 yards, touchdown, 19-14, 4 of 5, 2 TDs at this point for George. Late third, same score, 19-14. George, slant to Moss. Robert Bailey saves a touchdown, but it's 31 yards. Now, same time, but it's fourth quarter. Leroy Horde. Vikings, 20 unanswered points, 2-point conversion, no good. Remember it, it's 20-19. Gus Farrat, 23-22, Lions down. To Brian the Snake Stabline, 16 yards. Farrat doesn't have a big arm, but boy, was he accurate here. 10 to Johnny's Martin. More salt. 6 yards to Morton. 48-yard field goal for the winner. Jason Hansen. Good! It's good! 6 field goals for Hansen after delay of game forced the 43-yarder, which was going to be retried from 48. You saw the results. Detroit back on the winning side of the ledger. They win it 25-23. The Minnesota Vikings bench Randall Cunningham. They remain in last at 2-4. And it's a head-scratcher because, again, out of sync. Although George showed a lot of life. And Dennis Green, Tommy's already said George is going to start next week.
Chris, there was never any doubt that Jeff George's arm fit with this big play style of offense that they like to run, whether it's the quick slant to Moss or whether it's the deep ball to Chris Carter, Randy Moss, or Jake Reed. But I think that we have to talk about the history of Jeff George, whether it was in college at Illinois and Purdue, whether it was in the pros with the Colts, the Falcons, the Raiders. He has always had troubling personality clashes either with his coaches or with his team. And you just have to wonder how this is going to work out a month or so down the road.
They have to roll the dice, they feel, to get some offense going. Robert Smith now out 3 to 6 weeks with that hernia. I mean, it was going to be hard for him to play that way anyway, and so now he is out. The Vikings are a team that's one of many puzzled by the 99 season when we return. Buffalo Bills, Oakland Raiders. So much for good rush defenses here. And could the Jets beat at Ralph Wilson Stadium, or before that when it was Rich Stadium? Look at Antoine Smith. Just bowl over Eric Turner, makes him look like Ike Turner. 52 yards for a touchdown. Raiders come in with the second leading rush defense, but not today.
Yeah, let's remember that this is one of the better rush defenses in the... Oh, we're watching the replay now. That's the bulldoze of Eric Turner trying to make a great play.
Buffalo had the best rush defense, but not today.
That's what I was going to say. Napoleon Kaufman with a big hole right there for 7 yards. And look here, Tyrone Wheatley making his way for another 7 yards.
And then another big hole for Wheatley here. And I tell you what, the Raiders did a heck of a job allowing 195 yards rushing against the Buffalo Bills, who came in the league #1 in that department. Tyrone Wheatley was chaffed with the Giants. Now good. 11-yard touchdown, 20-7, the 80s. Napoleon Kaufman, hand out of vest, 14 yards. 2 plays later, I think you get the feeling that the Raiders, we showed you the number, now we show you the carries. Kaufman for 10 yards. With 1:03 to go, 20-14, Michael, come on, Husta? No hablo. And the Bills are still in the game, and Doug Flutie is at the helm. Although Eric Moulds carted off, hamstring could be out 3 to 4 weeks. Flutie to Peerless Price, 30 yards, 21 seconds to go. Flutie to Andre Reed, out of bounds. Would it be Flutie magic again? 8 seconds to go. The play from the sideline. Wade Phillips says you got to throw it to the end zone. Incomplete for Price, but 2 seconds left. One last shot. Remember Eric Turner was blown away by Antoine Smith? Eric Turner makes the pick. No Flutie magic. And the Raiders. Remember, they've lost a couple of games at Seattle, games at Green Bay. This time they held on. They really could have a good record, Tommy. Not that 3-3 is bad. And a key loss for Buffalo as they fall to 4-2, facing a 3-game road trip.
And the amazing thing is the resurrection of Tyrone Wheatley in the running game. Almost 100 yards today, and I don't think we saw 100 yards his whole Giants career.
It didn't seem like it. He had 97 on 25 carries. Meanwhile, the Indianapolis Colts have lost 2 very tough division games, including last week at home to Miami. Ray Lucas, surprise starter for the Jets instead of Rick Meyer, as the Jets try to resurrect their season. Ray Lucas to Keyshawn. Jason Belzer just popped Keyshawn.
Again, we talk about young quarterbacks throwing the ball into coverage. Receivers are going to have to take those kind of shots.
Yeah, don't throw him the damn ball on plays like that. Wayne Corbett back first time this year. First down, 14-yard gain. Next play, Look at Lucas to Richie Anderson and the Jets. Hey, they're playing with some confidence. The move past Bell, so it's 13-0. Jet. Second quarter, the Colts, who would average 30 points a game, have Peyton Manning to Terrence Wilkins, 27 yards. Manning throwing for almost all the yards of that play on that drive, 13-7. Now, with the score 13-10 and the Colts punting, offsides Jason Ferguson enables them to keep the ball, get a field goal out of the drive. That will not make Bill happy. We're tied at 13-all. 7:20 to go, fourth quarter. Lucas hand up to Curtis, my favorite, 26-yard run, gets pushed out of bounds. 128 yards for Martin, first 100-yard game for him. Same drive, Lucas going for the winning score, but no! Jeff Burris picks off the pass, the floater intended for Keyshawn, returns it 55 yards. So the Jets were looking to take the lead with under 5 to go. Instead, Jim Mora, Peyton Manning show up almost all the time on the clock. Mike Vanderjagt, good. 27 yards, 16-13. 5 seconds left. It's a prayer at best. And not a good one for Ray Lucas. Sprained his left ankle, was in a lot of pain for a while after being rolled by Ellis Johnson. And although they had the early lead, they couldn't score after that, Tommy. And the Colts, now they've won a division game on the road, so in a week, they have grown up, and rather than blowing a big lead, they've come from behind to win one.
And certainly I think that this ball club, as you said early on this year, better catch them in the first third of the season before they learn how to win those games, those close games maybe they have.
And the Jets did as good a job defensively as anyone's done on the Colts, but they don't have a win to show for it. Big game, two teams with one loss each. Miami at New England. Dan Marino, shoulder and neck spasms all week, trying to get loose. He never could. But little order of business. Need 7, got 8. Tony Martin, 60,001 career passing yards. That's almost 34 miles. Marino, blitzed by Lawyer Malloy. The Katzenmoyer kid picks it up. Andy Katzenmoyer, one of the first-round draft picks of the Pats. 57 yards, 7-0 P-Man.
And you had to wonder how long Jimmy Johnson was going to watch Dan Marino struggle. Right there, tries to throw a little 8-yard out. Just can't get anything on the football, Boone.
And now the next Dolphins possession. Damon Heward, his first pass. He fought the law, and the law won. Tie law. Patriots offense not on the field yet, but they lead 14-0. 14-6 second quarter. Damon Heward scrambles, buying time. To Tony Martin, 69 yards. It's going to be a 14-13 game now. And on the sidelines, a big hug from the veteran Marino to the youngster Heward. 24-16 late second quarter. Olindo Mare. Whoa. He had 4 games in which he's had 4 consecutive field goals. He came in 13 of 14. He was a kicking fool today. He had 6 field goals. And then what happened to Chris Slade with the sack?
Well, Pete Carroll with a great game plan against a young quarterback, inexperienced. There you saw Chris Slade coming from the top of the screen. This time Steve Israel putting the pressure on. Katzenmoyer coming in for the cleanup. And this became a theme throughout the third and fourth quarter.
9 sacks by the Patriots. Bledsoe to Ben Coates. With the Patriots up 30-25 on 3rd and 9, they couldn't convert on the first down. Now, under 2 minutes to go on 3rd and 10. Heward to Stanley Wilson Pritchett, first down. Heward, 3rd and 9. Steps up and finds Tony Martin, 3rd and 7. Can the Patriots defense hold him? No, it's J.J. Johnson, hair perfect, down to the 5. Marino led his team in a comeback last week. Is this Heward's turn on 3rd down? Touchdown to Stanley Pritchett. They almost wait to the midnight hour. 31-30. The Dolphins, boy, what a week they've had. Come from behind to win at the Colts. Come from behind to win at the Patriots. They win it 31-30 in a game in which Dan Marino was gone after 8 yards passing. In New England, even though they had the lead offensively, Tommy, I mean, Bledsoe's had a great year, but offensively, when you can't move the ball on the ground, you're asking too much, aren't you?
Well, you become one-dimensional. Certainly, it allows the defense to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and we've seen over the course of the last couple of weeks, Drew Bledsoe take a tremendous pounding from the other team's defense. And at the end of that game, I thought it was most evident when you'd like to run the ball, to run the clock out, Drew was forced to try to throw for a first down, stopping the clock, giving the Dolphins more time to come back.
They ran for only 46 yards, and one was like one carry by Lamont Warren for 18 yards. So these are not the running numbers that you need if you're going places. And so the Patriots After winning their first 4, have lost 2 in a row, and Miami is in first place by their lonesome. As we go inside the numbers, how about the third-year free agent quarterback, Damon Heward? Dan Marino has thrown for 60,001 yards in his career. However, he's run for 89 yards. In one game, Damon Heward ran for 54 yards from the Heward family of quarterbacks.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. Log on to ESPN.com for more Inside the Numbers.
Just thinking that's about 5 yards a year. And for Marino, when we won 2 Super Bowls with the 49ers, he comes to town as coach of the Carolina Panthers, back to his native Bay Area. And he comes to town armed with Steve Berline to Muhsin Muhammad. The 49ers, a recurring theme, setting up a Patrick Jeffers touchdown catch. Pass defense, not one of the Niners' strong suit, after a San Francisco punt. However, Darnell Walker says, wait a minute, we can play some pass defense. And Tommy, look at the moves. He reverses field and says, we better score here.
Outstanding job of getting into the end zone. When you know that your offense is struggling a little bit without Steve Young, you know that you have to manufacture some points defensively. Darnell Walker does that with the help of his teammates right there.
So a 27-yard touchdown. Now later in the second, Garner's fumbled, and Steve Berline to Wesley Walls. One-time Niner, 25-yard TD, 3 touchdowns in a 5-minute span in the second quarter. Carolina leads at 24-16. Now 31-23 fourth quarter. Jeff Garcia to Greg Clark. Stopped by Brent Alexander, close to the first down. The measurement, they're short. Look again. Did he pick up the first down with the stretch? So what happens? They review the play. They review the play. They go into that peep show booth, which looks awful, I might add. The ball's respotted. First down, 49ers on the review. Garcia, Jerry Rice riding that train for Garcia. 31-29. Niners go for 2. Garcia looking for a tie, fittingly. No, sheesh. It's incomplete. The old Connie Deerking hook shot. It's incomplete at 31-29. Garcia, Hail Mary. 9 seconds left to J.J. Stokes. Mike Minter, Doug Evans, break it up. The San Francisco 49ers last lost a regular season game in '96. Seifert was the Niners coach. They lost to the Panthers. So Seifert comes back as a Panther coach and gives the Niners their first regular season loss after that 19-game winning streak. How do you like that? Seifert back as the Niners just have to scratch their head and they fall to 3-3. Meanwhile, Packers, Broncos. Brett Favre in the pack. Magic when they're at Lambeau. But a mile high, a different sort of magic. Even though the Broncos have only won once, it's Dale Carter that makes the pick. And what happened on the plate?
Well, you're going to see Bill Romanowski here on a stunt coming inside. You're going to see the guard, number 70, Dro Andrews. He just doesn't pick him up soon enough, and it forces Brett to deliver the ball sooner than he'd like to.
Now, wait a minute. 2 for 10, 27 yards, and a pick in the first half. That was Brett. Second half, more of the same with a 3-3 game, early third. Picked off by Eric Brown. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, fumbling. He picks it up, rumbling, but fumbling. Picked up by Glenn Kadraz. Second pick for Favre. It goes down as that. Brian Greasy, Easy Ed McCaffrey. 10-yard touchdown, 10-3, B-man. Still third quarter. Favre for Corey Bradford. The bomb. Oh, the sliding catch, 53 yards, sets up a Dorsey Levens run. We're tied at 10. Next Broncos possession. Greasy avoids the rush. A good play on his end and a better play on McCaffrey's end, Tommy. Look at him here, and he stiff-arms Darren Sharper image.
Yeah, Darren Sharper can't quite get a hold of that arm and that jersey enough to get him down. You have to realize how big Easy Ed is. He manages to get into the end zone from about 20 yards out right there. We take a look at the end of the play again. You see Darren on the jersey right there, just doesn't have enough of it to bring him down. And Ed says, lay down right there. I'll be right back after I go to the end zone.
So time for Brett Favre to get moving. Late third, down 17-10. But Ray Crockett is there on the floater. Brett today, 7 of 23 for $120 and 3 picks. Oh, by the way, 45 minutes of possession for the Broncos to under 15 for the Green Bay Packers. And that's because Olandis Gary, 4th-round draft pick from Georgia, had a 100-yard day.
Yeah, he also had 37 carries, and that's where the time of possession is key, the number of times you run the football.
See, we don't have Terrell Davis. Let's put in another Georgia running back. Let's win. The biggest game. It's been a long time since we could say bags, bolts for first place in the AFC West. Kicker John Connie said, hey, color your hair. He did it, and hopefully that would lead to a win. But with the score 7-3 San Diego in the third quarter, Eric Kramer's floater picked up by Brian Walker in a defensive struggle at the Murph. Seahawks first and goal from the 1. Itulamili. It's that famed kidney to Itulamili combination, 10-7 Seabag.
Yeah, Chargers next possession, 3rd and 3. You can see right there Kramer staring down the defender and the receiver, and Chris Canty has a chance to come up and make a pick right there.
But San Diego's defense says you will not capitalize. It's still 10-7. Kramer, pass deflected. The big fella, Supreme Cortez Kennedy, picks it off. But again, San Diego's defense prevents Seattle from scoring even a field goal. 7 minutes to go. Kramer versus Kramer. Picked off again by Willie Williams. 4 straight drives with an interception. Shades of last year. But San Diego's defense holds. Kramer to Jeff Graham. Out of nowhere, crackers his way 41 yards inside the 20. Setting up, 28-yard field goal. John Carney, 2:54 to go. Tied at 10. Does Carney change the color of his hair? No, he won the bet. No problem. 30 seconds left. 10-10. San Diego. The dump pass to Terrell Fletcher down to the 23. 2 plays later, from 41 yards out to the chagrin of Mike Holmgren. John Connie, Sheila McCray, Audrey Meadows. Good night, everybody. The Chargers are in first place. The Chargers have risen from the ashes, and they beat the Seahawks 13-10, despite the 4 straight picks by Kramer. A defensive stout showing by Seattle, yes, but San Diego's defense again saves the day.
Well, great defense by this football team, allowing a quarterback like Kramer to come in and not feel like every time you make a mistake, it's going to be a fatal mistake. And Jeff Graham in just long enough to give Coach Riley a downfield threat, and he took advantage of it today.
Well, and the defense held Kidner to 151. They held Waters to 54. Kramer threw for almost 300, but the 4 picks.
Yes.
Bring your defense this year. We told you that after the first week. You have a defense, you can go places this year. And the San Diego Chargers of Mike Riley are in first place in the AFC West. When we return, candidates for game balls.
Primetime Players is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save.
Well, it's our weekly game ball to a St. Louis Ram. Marshall Faulk, 213 yards all told, most of them rushing. Zonk kicking the boys, keep the champagne cork. The Rams still undefeated. Tommy?
Mine goes to Eddie George, who's been doing a great job receiving the ball for the Titans today. 28 carries, 155 yards, running the football. Certainly looking to make his quarterback, as we said earlier in the show, comfortable.
Join Tommy, Sterling, Mike Tirico, and the gang on Monday Night Countdown. 2 hours, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, getting you set for the Cowboys at the New York Football Giants. And don't forget, every place tie at 3-2. What?
Well, I think you need to play defense and run the ball.
That'll work. For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching this edition of NFL Primetime.
NFL Primetime is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Proud to be celebrating our 20th anniversary. For more, log on to ESPN.
The Giants outscoring New York 104-17 in their last 3 meetings. Wait, there's more. The Giants' 6th best defense have been holding their tongues and tempers over a Giants offense, which has scored just 6 touchdowns in 5 games, said Giants defensive end Jesse Armstead. You're dealing with fragile glass right now. Cowboys playing without the injured Michael Irvin. Deion saying, don't worry, we'll take care of business. First quarter, 2nd and 14 for the Cowboys. No score. Robert Harris sacking Troy Aikman for the big loss. Troy was sacked 3 times. He was also picked off once by the Giants' D. Third quarter, tied at 3, Aikman. No chance. Michael Strahan and Corey Widmer all over him for a near safety. Example of why the Giants' D is ranked 6th in the league. 3rd and 2 for Dallas. Cowboys, top rushing team in the NFL. They didn't look so on Monday night. Emmitt Smith goes nowhere and is dropped in the backfield. Emmitt had 22 carries, 26 yards. We're still tied at 3 in the 4th. Tiki Barber goes to work. Look at Tiki go, the former Virginia Cavalier. The 2nd longest punt return in Giants history, 85 yards. Tiki in this game, 5 punt returns for 123 yards and that touchdown to put the Giants in front, 10-3. Aikman Trying to make something happen with Chris Warren. Aikman 20 of 33 for 266 yards. Second and goal from the 2. Emmett doesn't miss from there. The extra point, and we are tied at 10. Would the Giants have an answer? 39 seconds left in the game. Second down, Kent Graham. Smart play, dumps it to Barber. Go to your hot guy. Breaking a tackle after tackle. What tackling? Barber, 5 catches for 73 yards, 231 all-purpose yards for Tiki. 5 seconds to go. Brad DeLuiso puts the Giants ahead by 3, his second field goal of the game. Okay, let's hang on. On the ensuing kickoff, Deion Sanders. You don't want the ball in his hands. And then Deion, being cute, looking for something to happen. Laterals to Kevin Mathis. Mathis is gone. And then Mathis is not done with the dramatics because he will lateral to Mobley, who goes in for the apparent touchdown. What a finish on Monday night. But wait a minute. Sanders lateral to Mathis. Clearly a forward pass. That's a penalty. So that means everything that came after it doesn't count. And the Giants hang on. You didn't think this was going to be easy, huh? For the Dallas Cowboys, 13-10. The second straight week Dallas has lost by this score. For Richie Cunningham, no happy days. He missed 2 field goals in a game for the first time. Emmitt Smith, we told you about his 26 yards on 22 carries. 3 of his 5 worst yardage games all time coming against the New York Giants. Cowboys receiver Wayne McGarity, Michael Irvin's replacement, he suffered a separated right shoulder. Good thing Dallas signed Alvin Harper last week. As for the Giants' win, Jim Fossil will take it.
They were ready to go. They were unified. They were, I talked to them about no matter what things go down, it's a positive attitude. It's a can-do attitude. We're together on this thing, and I was proud of the way they hung in there because the sideline was that way. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. Keep going.
It was a Monday night game, and we knew it was the big game coming in. We had some. I think I told some of you guys we had something up our sleeve early in the week, and we came out with a no huddle. We made things happen. We held the ball for 9 minutes, and you got to make big plays in big games. And when our offense was struggling, I stepped up and made some plays.
So the Cowboys held to 10 points for the second straight game after scoring more than 33 points per game, averaging more than 144 yards on the ground and starting 3-0. The Cowboys have now dropped 2 in a row. For the first time this year, Dallas rushes for fewer than 100 yards in a game.
The Dolphins have pinpointed why Dan Marino was throwing, as he said, changeups instead of fastballs in New England Sunday. He has a bone spur on the right side of the lower neck. Marino will not practice until at least Thursday, so that means Damon Heward may get his first NFL start against Philly.
If he's 100%, and I see he's 100%, Dan's going to want to play if he's got no arms. Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's the right one to win games with. I want the guy out there that's going to win the game. If Dan's 100%, he's the starter.
With Heward at the helm on Sunday, the Dolphins became the first team in NFL history to win consecutive road games after trailing by more than a touchdown heading into the fourth quarter in each game. Sunday's game with Phillies in Miami, where the rare moments without Marino have been trying. Since 1995, Marino's missed 5 starts. Miami is 1-4 in those contests. And when Jeff George signed a 1-year, $400,000 deal to back up the guy who led the NFL with a 106 quarterback rating, most everybody thought Jeff George was crazy. Like a fox. On Sunday, he came in for the ineffective Randall Cunningham and completed 10 of 12 passes to 5 different receivers, nearly pulling off one of the Vikings' biggest comebacks ever. Now George is officially back as a starter. Here's Shelley Smith.
Jeff George produced more points in the second half of the Vikings' loss to Detroit than Randall Cunningham produced in any full game this season. And that left Vikings head coach Dennis Green with little choice but to bench Cunningham and name George the starter.
He's learned our offense very well in a short period of time. Has a very quick release. Very competitive. We didn't put a timetable on it. We won't. I think we're looking to have some success. We know what we're up against, and we've been there before.
Upset with benchings in the past, Cunningham says this is one he understands.
It's a weird year, and I'm thankful that Denny saw fit that Jeff should get in there because, at any given time, a guy can get hurt, but at any given time, things can go well. So I'm just thankful that we have a guy here in Jeff who can do the things that he does.
We're fortunate that we have 2 quarterbacks, and Randall's my friend, and I know exactly what's going on because I've been on the other end there, and believe me, it's not fun.
With stints in Indianapolis, Atlanta, and Oakland before being signed by the Vikings this past summer, George has built a reputation with his arm and his attitude.
Certain people like him, certain people don't. You know, that's the nature of the game, and I'm not here trying to win over people. I'm just here to do my job as best as I can. All I care about is is right now and the future. And I can't take back what happened to me in the past. All I can say is you grow up from things, and you mature and you learn from them. Bottom line is I'm here, and I'm confident that we can get things turned around. And whatever happened in the past or whatever, that's over with.
Let me tell you something. I'd rather be in there with an overconfident quarterback and players rather than someone who is doubting themselves. And if the word arrogance is the wrong word, I just use overconfident.
Green says that running back Robert Smith, who has been bothered by a hernia since training camp, is scheduled to undergo surgery on Tuesday and is likely out from 3 to 6 weeks. Leroy Horde will start in his place and will split time with Mo Williams. With the Vikings, I'm Shelley Smith, ESPN.
Shelley, thank you. Perhaps George can take the heat off of Ray Sherman, who took over for now Ravens head coach Brian Billick as Vikings offensive coordinator. Many detractors have pointed out how the Steelers offense dropped off when Sherman took over for Chan Gailey in '97 when he left to coach the Cowboys. The Pittsburgh O dropped off nearly 7 points a game. The Vikings O has dropped off about 2 touchdowns per.
Still to come on SportsCenter, Jake Plummer's latest pain. How long will the Snake be sidelined for Arizona?
Karl Malone has missed only 6 games in 14 seasons, so if he misses one,